Yo, what's going on, everybody? It is happy hour. We've made it to Thursday. Congratulations to all of us for making it this far into the week. It's August 6th, 2020. Hope you guys are doing well. I'm switching it up today. I've been telling you guys for weeks that happy hour doesn't have to be about alcohol or necessarily beer. And today, I'm proving just that. I'm going to have some coffee. But it's a special kind of coffee, and we'll talk about it in a second. But I want to first check out who's here. Hopefully you guys are doing well. We've got Steve just passing by. Jonathan Finn's here. Let's see. Not really. Hank Aaron's here as well. Roadrunner Review says what's going on. Patrick Funk says need to go on a Costco run. Wish me luck. I always buy more than I need, quote unquote. We'll pick up coffee for this episode's sake. Awesome. Very cool. I feel like I haven't been to a Costco in probably 12 years or so. Wait, what year is it now? Yeah, 13 years or so. But I feel like it's such a daunting task that, yeah, I would want a coffee with me. But I feel like I want a coffee with me wherever I go, especially if I have to run errands. But good luck, Patrick. Be safe. Hopefully you will make it through your Costco run with plenty of energy. Ty Matt is here as well. Sebastian Rodriguez. Chris Yao says, what's going on, everyone? All right. Looks like you guys are talking about something that happened that I didn't know about. Steve says, giant truck going through. Steve says, just saw that the London Marathon is canceled for the masses, but there will be an elite race. Ooh, all right. So I'm guessing that means and not really. Hank Aaron asked, no spectators, ? Yeah, I'm not aware of that. But, yeah, I mean, that's what they did for London. Not London. For London, that's what they did for Tokyo in 2020. I don't know if you guys, I don't know if anyone ever watched that. I watched it on replay months later when it was rebroadcast on NBC Sports. They did a whole bunch of different marathons. And it was, I mean, watching the Tokyo Marathon is surreal in and of itself because it's going on in Tokyo and it looks like Tokyo looks like a caricature of itself. Like the way I envision it in my mind, my experience of Tokyo or my conceptions of Tokyo are from movies and cartoons. And then you watch the Tokyo Marathon, I'm like, oh, it kind of looks like that. It kind of looks exactly like that. So you feel like it's kind of fake. But, yeah, but then to watch the elites run that marathon with almost no spectators on the road. There were still some on the road, but to see that was really strange. And I just don't know how that's going to happen in London. Because if they run it, I mean, especially if if Kipchoge and Bekele are still going to run it, I mean, I guess they're still signed up for running it, right? Or if it was canceled, does that mean that they're released from their obligations? Or I'm not sure how any of that works. Interesting. Yeah. Not really. Hank Aaron's asked the question. If Iowa is Trump country, and not all of Iowa is, but if we're saying if Iowa is Trump country, what is Biden country? I don't think Biden necessarily has a country. I think it's more of sporadic regions. Berlagas says Ukraine. That's funny. Let's see. Martha's here. She says hi. What's going on, Martha? Yeah. So Martha wants to know, when is this runoff that's going to happen routine then? That's what I want to know. Emma Wilhelm says, hey, y'all, happy almost Friday. Oh, that reminds me. Okay, let me get to the coffee because I was just thinking I needed a drink of something. So I got my little kettle up here. I'm going to warm up the water again. I already pre-warmed it up once, so it shouldn't take too long. I've got my Instant Pot. Not Instant Pot. AeroPress. Sorry, stuff that I've bought off of the internet. AeroPress. I got a cup of coffee here. And this is the coffee I'm going to try today. It's from Unived. I didn't know Unived made coffee, but in the last kind of care, they send me a care package every once in a while, so I didn't buy this myself. But they send me a care package every once in a while, and this was in the last one. They sent me 2 bags of it, and it's called Coffee for Athletes. And it has coffee in it, but also isomaltulose, basically like a complex carb of some sort. I don't know what the difference between maltose and isomaltulose would be, but we're going to find out. So I'm going to open up the bag. I have not had this yet before. So we'll see how it goes. But I'll get some of this started, and then we'll while it's brewing. Oh, but it looks different. It looks kind of like, it smells like coffee slash cocoa powder mixed together, which might be just what this is. But it looks almost like it's a very, I can't show, maybe I could show it to you guys, but it's not like the same like color and texture. It's almost like clumpy, very different than coffee. And it reminds me of kind of like the chia powder that we have. And you know, I was looking at this, trying to figure out, thinking like, this is kind of a small bag of coffee. It's 8 ounces, half a pound. But then on the back, it says the serving size is 12.35 grams. That feels like a very little amount of coffee. Like, I'll tell you how much coffee I normally put in, and I'm just going to go with that. And maybe I'll just be like super wired for the rest of the day. And it's always kind of dangerous drinking a strong coffee at 3 o'clock. But I'm going to do it. I'm just going to do it the regular way that I would normally make coffee. I'll go a little like lighter than I normally would make a coffee. So we'll get that in there. The water's hot, and we'll get it going. So the idea with this is that, I'll read off some of the packaging to you. It says, the idea is that it's infused with isomaltulose, which is clinically proven to boost fat oxidation and release energy in a prolonged and sustained manner. So I kind of like that idea. Like I need like a 1-2 punch. I need like a time release capsule of caffeine. I want a punch in the face and then like a slow, like mellow kind of like baseline level of caffeine. That's kind of how I like my caffeine. We'll see how this is. It is single origin Arabica coffee from, it said that region somewhere on here. From the Chikmagalur region, an altitude of 4,000 feet, so high altitude coffee. I don't know enough about coffee to know if that's a good thing or not, or how good a thing it is, if it is. All right, let's get some water in this. So I'm gonna put some water in my AeroPress. My wife makes her AeroPress a different way. She flips it up. She does kind of like an upside down pour method. It's really unusual. I'm gonna usually give it a stir, and then I'll let it sit for a second, and then I'll press it, and we'll see how it is. I didn't bring something till I didn't think this through. We're not set up here for coffee making, but we're gonna try it for today. All right. Get it flipped over. Pressing the coffee now. This is taking a while. Sorry. All right. So there's the coffee. I'm going to give it a second to let it kind of cool off. It's still like scalding hot. All right, so we'll see how that coffee goes. Yeah, I was talking with Amit over Instant Messenger. No, not, I was gonna say Instant Messenger, over DMs on Instagram, and yeah, he was like, make sure you don't drink it with milk or sugar because it doesn't need it because it has like sugar already in it. So I normally drink my coffee black. If I do anything, sometimes I'll add I like sugar in the raw, like that sugar. I'll add like half a packet of that to my coffee. I mean, there's some times where I like to have a mista, so like I just have like frothed milk on it. But we'll see how this goes. All right, Carlos PR says, Carlos, I hope you're doing okay in Puerto Rico. I know you guys got hit pretty hard, or at least that island got hit pretty hard, I think, from the storms. Hopefully you're doing all right. He says, hi, Kapuzi. How would you compare the Atreyus versus the SL20? I have the Atreyus and really like them and would like to know how the SL20 would compare to them. Thank you. I feel like the SL20 is a softer shoe. There's more to it in the heel, which I find comfortable. It's not a ton, but there's a lot more to it in the heel compared to the Atreyu. I feel like the Atreyu, to me, I don't know what it is about it, but it feels more like a zero. I don't remember what the drop is. I think it's 6mm drop, but it feels more like a zero drop shoe than my actual zero drop shoes feel. So that's kind of a sensation that I get from it. It feels very minimal to me, which is not kind of what I was expecting. I was expecting it to not have a very thick. I felt like it was going to be a very thin, quick shoe. But I found it to be like a firm, everyday type of trainer. So it was a little bit of a surprise to me when I ran in the Atreyus. I still have them. I'd like to run some more in them. But the SL20, I've been running a lot of everyday paces in it, and I'm actually kind of starting to really like it all as an all-arounder. And so I would say the forefoot feels similarly like firm in both shoes, but I feel like there's just a little bit more that's forgiving in the heel in the SL20 compared to the Atreyu. So that's kind of how I think of the two. All right. Joshua Payne says, "Hey, Mike, good to be able to finally tune in after a while. Awesome. All right, I'll try this coffee now." Yeah, it's good. I'm tasting a lot of that sugar. It tastes like a coffee with like a half packet of sugar in it. It's good. And I did put more than I think I was supposed to in terms of like the grounds into my AeroPress. But yeah, I mean, this is a really mild flavored coffee. I think it's very subtle. I usually like mine to be, I mean, for single origin coffees, I usually like Central American because it's not too complex. Because it's lost on me if it's too complex. It's not too dark, pretty like straightforward. Kind of like how I like my whiskeys. I don't like it too peaty, too mossy, too smoky. I just kind of like it to taste like whiskey and not have too much of a burn. Coffee, I kind of like it to taste like coffee. I mean, that's a weird way to describe it, but I like it to taste like coffee and not be too complex, not be too bitter. I don't mind if it's a little bitter, but this is good. I like it. I feel like I would like a little bit more strength to it, I think, but we'll see how I feel about that after a little while drinking it. All right. Let's see. Oh, Larry Lawrence says, "Is watching Courtney day 2. Is there? Oh, I forgot that that's going on. Awesome. That's cool." Bert Legas says, "What's the concept of Costco? Buy everything in the large." Yeah, I mean, the large is not the right word. Buy everything in kind of like restaurant size. But also, that's how it started. And after a while, they started having a much broader selection of items. So, like, they have a brand called Kirkland. Like, that's their Costco brand. Right? That's not... Am I confusing Sam's Club and Costco? But, and now they just will buy a variety of things as long as they can get a lot of it and at a very good price. So you can get TVs there, like recliners, jeans. Sometimes you buy shoes. If Kirkland is the one that goes with Costco, they have some wines that are actually rated very highly. I'm not familiar enough with wines to know whether like the ratings like pan out. Yeah, so they have that. You could get really great beef at very cheap prices, like just large cuts of meat. So if you know how to like do a little bit of butchering, like if you take like an entire an entire brisket and know how to break that down, or an entire loin and know how to break that down, you can really get some great values. But also if you just want to buy individually cut loins and that kind of thing too. So it's kind of amazing. The thing that they got really, that and Sam's Club and Costco, they got known for giving out samples of stuff on the weekends. And so you can basically spend hours in the store and sustain yourself by eating all these free samples of the different like foods and stuff that they have available. So it's kind of like an IKEA, but for not furniture. Although now they have furniture, kind of. I think. I haven't been there in a while. All right. Let's see. Ty Matt says, Kirkland wine and Aldi wine is amazing. Yeah. I don't know. I've not had Aldi wine before. Does it have a brand to it, or does it just say Aldi on the front? And just like, I think it'd be great if it was like Aldi wine and like the only two flavors were red and white. That'd be amazing. Rain Runner says, is Price Club still in existence? That's a great question. I don't know. Trey Good saying that the Kirkland brand vodka is fantastic. I mean, it must come in a giant jug, right? It probably only comes in handles. Oh, yes. Yeah. All right. Everyone's confirming that Kirkland is Costco. Cool. All right. Ross W says, feel like we might need a SL20 swear jar. Everybody can save up their pennies to buy 2-inch shorts. Yeah, I mean, it comes up like every day. It comes up every day, doesn't it? So I think the idea is like every time someone says SL20, you got to put money in the thing. Maybe all right, that's another sound effect I gotta look for. I gotta look for like coins, like dropping, clinking change, and we'll do that well, that'll be like the word for a little while, and we'll change the word periodically. David Gunn says, really keen to hear your favorite shoes for following distances: mile, 5K, 10K, half, and full marathon. Yeah, I mean, I think there's probably only 2 real shoes that I need for that. Because for me, I don't run a lot of miles. So I'd probably race in the same shoe for like the mile and the 5K. And then maybe a different shoe for the 10K half. And then maybe a different shoe for the full marathon, depending on what it is. I mean, one shoe that could run all of those, it would be like a Vaporfly 4%. I really still like that shoe. I like the Vaporfly Next Percent as well. I think that shoe could also do all of those, depending on if there's any turns in the mile and if there's any like switchbacks in the 5K. But right now, the way I'm looking at it, like mile and 5K, I'd probably look at like a Carbon Rocket. I would look at the Speed Elite. I would look at the Meta Racer. And for like 10K half, I would probably like the Meta Racer is probably what I like the most. Because you're asking me the favorite, so whenever people ask me that, I always rattle off a whole bunch, and I know that's kind of cheating. So 10K and half, I don't know if I could take the Meta Racer for a half, so I'll say Meta Racer for the 10K. For the half, I will pick, I'll go with the Adazero Pro for a half. And then for the full, I'll probably pick an Endorphin Speed right now of the shoes that I have. I really like that one. All right. Yeah, that's it. Guy says next time, but do the same amount, but leave it into brew for much longer. Maybe. That'll probably be it. I just get so impatient with the AeroPress. I mean, you saw me trying to push on it. I was like, hurry up and press. Because I just wanted coffee. Awesome. It looks like Ed Bud's here. Good to see you, my friend. How are you? Jody Run says, that is unusual for Americans to add sugar to something. Yeah, but you know what? I didn't add sugar. The sugar came in the coffee, and the coffee comes from India. So it's not like it was I don't know that it was an American idea. So I think the idea is to just kind of give those 2 different levels of buzz. Kind of like, I mean, tea has that built in. You have theophylline and theobromine, and so you have like the 2 kinds of stimulants that gives you that 1-2 punch, like the instant hit and then the more subtle hit. That's what makes tea like so pleasant, is that you drink it and you just have like a nice even buzz for a long time. Coffee is more like a cymbal clash. But I think with this, I don't know what isomaltulose is, but I think the idea is to kind of give it that like easy, even keel. So I don't know. I'm gonna drink the rest of this because it's tasty. It goes down really well. And the more I'm drinking it, the more I'm really picking up like the sweetness on it. Carlos PR giving us an update on the Puerto Rico situation and the tropical storm. He says, we're okay. Just received a ton of rain, nothing major. Thank God. Well, I'm glad to hear that. Yeah, because it looked like a lot of places were getting battered down pretty hard. All right, let's get back down to the bottom. Guy says, in terms of my impatience, brew it and go do something with the kids for 5 minutes. Yeah, okay. I think, yeah. But I mean, even with an AeroPress, do you leave it for a while with an AeroPress? I always thought like the whole point of the AeroPress was that like the pressure that you put on it substitutes for like the amount of time you would normally have to wait for like say a pour over or like the Chemex, whatever that kind is. So, yeah. So I'll give it more time next time. Yeah. Rick Vega says, if you start a run and suddenly are not feeling it, what's your minimum distance to consider it a run? I'd probably say like 5K. Shorter than that, I'll just say I might like wipe it from the thing. I mean, if I like, let's say like I ran 2 miles and all of a sudden I had to poop really bad and then I had to walk home and like I had to just scrap the day. I might just leave it on Strava and my Polar as a 2-mile run with a 2-mile very uncomfortable walk. That almost happened to me this morning. Fortunately, I was out by the Heritage Trail where there is a porta potty, which had plenty of toilet paper in it, and it was very clean. So thankful. Thank you to the town of Dyersville for providing that. I'm very thankful. But yeah, so that's kind of where I'd put it. All right. Rainrunner says, how are the mozzarella sticks at Costco? I don't know, but if anyone's had them recently, please let us know. I'm also still really obsessed with Stouffer's French bread pizza, and I've asked my wife to buy some the next time she makes like an order for their grocery store. So we're gonna do that. Martha says, it's funny how whenever anyone asks a question here, they get a flood of 98 answers. I think we scared someone away the other day after he asked a question. He said, I have to go now. Well, I mean, I think maybe we answered the question. And so that was just like a way of him, like, or that person saying like, thank you very much. I have enough information for what I need. Mark Chancoco says, I go to Costco just for their $1.50 hot dog and soda. Oh, yeah. I mean, when I was eating meat, I would love a good cheap hot dog. My favorite places to get cheap hot dogs would have been Home Depot #1. In St. Louis, there was a Home Depot that we used to go to. I forget which one it was. It was the one that was close to campus at WashU, so somewhere near Clayton area. And they would have hot dogs for pretty cheap. I don't remember the price, but they were good, and they were like larger than like a regular 8 to a pack type of hot dog. And those I remember always being quite a bit of a treat. The other place that I would love to get hot dogs would be just basically from any like hot dog cart in New York City, preferably one with a soubrette awning. I always assume that means that there's soubrette hot dogs in the cart because those are my favorite brand. So that was another one I would like. The other place that I would really love getting hot dogs, even though they were not tasty at all, but just out of the pure concept of it being so cheap, was at IKEA. So I would get the hot dogs and then the ice cream, and I would just get multiple of each on the way out. And then it would just like have a food coma as I was eating like hot dogs and ice cream driving home from IKEA. I used to love that. But now we can't. I mean, now I don't eat meat, but we can't eat at IKEA anymore either. Like everything that they have is like contaminated with peanuts. According to them, that's what they say. So, all right. But going back to Martha's thing about, people getting flooded with answers, I think that's a good thing. I think it's a really good thing. That just means that like everyone's here participating, reading the chat, and trying to help people that are new. I think that's great. I love it. Roadrunner Review says A6 Dynablast coming soon. I think it was Jay Page that was telling me about that. This is the first I've heard of it. Unless Roadrunner Reviews, did you mention it too? A new like FF Blast shoe from A6 coming out. It sounds interesting. I'm really I was thinking about it a lot, and I would really love to see kind of like a turbo approach to it, because it does remind me, like a lot of shoes say they're like ZoomX, but FF Blast is like the first one that I can think of that is actually like it. And I would love to see, a medium thickness level of Flight Foam Blast and something a little bit firmer, like maybe Dynaflight on top of it, kind of like ZoomX and React Foam. Like I think that'd be really interesting. I don't know what the Dynablast. I have not seen a single thing about it. Only thing I know about Dynablast is the name. I'm hoping it's something like that. All right. Let's see. Timmy Pim is here. Good to see ya. Let's see. Dave says not all mozzarella is vegetarian though. Does some mozzarella have meat in it? Like, I mean, it has got dairy. It's mozzarella, but yeah. All right. Pete G 1980s here says hi. How's it going? Let me tell you what, guys. Drinking this coffee, it has made my mouth really dry. I mean, I'm also talking a lot. I don't normally talk this much when I'm drinking coffee, but now my mouth is really dry. I don't know if it's the sugar or what. Oh, okay. So Recycle on Wednesday says for some of the cheese, like it has animal rennet. But I mean, I guess that could be true of like cheddar as well, right? Because isn't that where rennet like first got used? It's what gives it. It's what gives cheap cheddar its yellow color. That's what I thought, right? All right. Pete G 1980 says, "How is the knee?" I think he's asking that to me. But my knee is doing fine. I did a math test today, and the last 2 days, I did like some short bursts of speed, like 90 seconds. I've been running like 5 miles pretty much every day for the last 2 weeks. One day I did 11, and that felt a little bit long in terms of on my knee. Other than that, the knee feels good and ready. I mean, my body is ready for hard work now and some longer runs. It feels I mean, I basically tapered, although I'm recovering from a run. So mentally, I feel like I've tapered. So like I think I'm ready to get back into it. We'll see how much the knee can like hold on. I mean, I think it's fine. I think it's at that point where it's just like, I'm worried that it's going to start hurting later in a run more than it's actually going to hurt. But, I'll ease back into it and see if maybe I came back a little bit too fast. But we'll see. Thank you for asking. Let's see. Louis M says, what you sipping on, Mike? I'm drinking coffee today, and Univet sent me this. They made coffee for athletes. It's a coffee that has basically a kind of sugar in it. But it's, they say it's a complex carbohydrate that's supposed to give you like a more even keel in terms of the buzz that you get from it. So it should help with focus and energy in that regard. So I like it. I feel like it's got me speaking a little bit faster than I normally do. I can feel that. So I'm feeling a little bit of that. Feeling the caffeine and the sugar in here, and I like it. It describes itself as having deep notes of chocolate and sweet chocolate and caramel. I'm feeling it. I feel that. When I smelled it, it smelled like coffee with like chocolate, like cocoa powder, like Hershey's cocoa powder, like inside, like mixed in it, or maybe a darker version of that. Like, have you ever guys have had the Hershey's dark powder? It's really tasty. I feel like that's what's in here. Not really. Hank Aaron says, where's the Missy Elliott hat? Yeah, this one is staying on for today. This polar hat has been kind of weird. It's from Boco Gear, which is a company that makes lots of hats that people run in. But for some reason, like the front of it, maybe because of the way I put it through the wash, it's got these weird like wrinkles and stuff in there that I can't seem to undo. And this mesh has gotten very soft and almost like cloth-like. I feel like I'm going to like poke through it at some point. I feel like I'm wearing through it. So this hat just kind of stretches and grabs all the hair a little bit more securely than yesterday's. Yesterday's was a little bit more of a regular size hat. This one is kind of be big. Spence Ohm says, you're crazy drinking coffee this late in the day. I'd be up until midnight. Yeah, I mean, I might be up late. I feel like this might keep me up a little bit, but I'm relatively caffeine desensitized. So, I mean, when I do have noon laying around, I'll drink the caffeinated noon pretty much like past dinner time, and I'll be fine. Not that that's a lot of caffeine, but some. Jay Page says the description. Yeah, hey, Jay. The description on the Dynablast is vague, but it just showed up on the website this week. Looks like a lower stack than Nova, but higher than the Road Blast. Interesting. Yeah, I felt like the Road Blast was like a cheaper version of the Nova Blast, if I'm not wrong. I was hoping for something like a faster version of the Nova Blast. That's what I'm more interested in. But I think that they were trying to play it safe and hit a couple of different price point with their SKUs in this like launch year. Trying to see what sticks. We'll see. Brendan Cam says, hey, how's your day going? The day is going well. We mowed the lawn today. Again, not here. My mother-in-law mowed her lawn like 2 days ago, something like that. 3 days ago. We went down to Guttenberg to mow the lawn at the other house. So we did that. And yeah, that's I'm still gross. I haven't showered yet today, guys. Just so you guys know that. I ran 5 miles this morning. I knew we would have to go mow the lawn a little bit earlier than we normally do today. So I didn't even bother taking a shower after it. It's been really balmy here. It was like 60 degrees for my run. So I wasn't really that sweaty. But I didn't shower after my run. I mowed the lawn, and I still haven't showered yet. I'm just disgusting. But I feel like I got a lot accomplished today. So my day's going pretty well overall. Now I got a coffee, and I like coffee. I like the more I drink this coffee, the more I'm liking it. It's really good. The taste feels a little bit on like the very, very mild side. I want a little bit more coffee flavor to it, but it's good, and it's going down easy. And I'm definitely feeling a little bit of a caffeine like snappiness to it, so it's there. I like it. 19 Live Simple. I couldn't think of if it was Live Simple or Lives. And then I was like, no, then what's Imple? But 19 Live Simple 19. I've been using the Carbon X for my daily running. Is that bad? Thinking about getting the endorphin speed when I can find my size. Are you the same one that asked me about that? Yes. Someone else asked me about that yesterday, and I think that's fine. I think it's fine. It's just that ProFly foam is not the softest foam. That being said, I feel like the running dynamics on that shoe are just really smooth. So I don't really feel like it needs a soft cushion, because like whatever it does, it just is shaped exactly right for like at least how my foot strikes. And so it's the closest thing that I ever felt to like running like on an elliptical, but like on the ground. So I feel like it could work. Some people think it's a bad idea to run regularly with a carbon fiber plate. I don't think that's necessarily bad, especially not with the shoe like the Carbon X, where the carbon fiber plate, I didn't find it to be that assertive. So I think it's fine. It's an expensive way to run, but let's say you like happen to come across a pair at a good price, or someone gifted it to you, or you don't care about the price, then I think it's certainly something that's doable. Plant Power Dan says, I'm having deja vu from this live stream. Weird. Oh, I wonder. Well, I mean, a lot of them are kind of the same, I guess. Time Matt says, I love when trucker hats break in like that. Yeah, I mean, this one, for the back part, when they get soft, is nice. But this, I just wish that this weren't so, like, I don't know how to fix that. Do they still sell them anymore? When I was in high school, they used to sell these things, and it was like basically a plastic cage, 2 pieces, that you could like then sandwich your hat when you wanted to wash it. And that would also make the brim stay like the right curvature when you were like letting it dry, whether you air dried or you dried it in a dryer. But I feel like I could use some of that, because I feel like that's what's going on. Like I don't know, it's just weird. So that's why this one almost always is worn backwards. Yeah. So let's see. Carlos Seja says, will you get the Dynablast? I'm not sure. I'll have to see what it ends up looking like. But I love the idea that they are introduced or have more options with the FF Blast and are just trying new things out. I think that's great. Not really. Hank Aaron says, skews. Funny word. It is a funny word. But it's not a word. It's the SKU. Something unit. Right? I don't know what that stands for anymore. Let's see. Jared Crano says, I just ordered a heart rate chest strap. Best resources for heart rate training methodologies. Input from all would be helpful. I mean, I think a lot of the training manuals that are out there will discuss heart rate training to some extent. Because, like, I think Matt Fitzgerald talks about it in 80/20. Jack Daniels talks about it in his book. What is his book called? Like the Jack Daniels something. I forget the title. I just call it Jack Daniels. And then I can't remember if Advanced Marathoning has discussions about heart rate training in it as well. Because there are a variety of them out there. Runner's World is a good source, but I feel like Runner's World is very inconsistent, like in terms of like what they're like recommending between like author to author. So that's been a little bit hard for me to follow, kind of like what they're recommending. But I kind of rely when it comes to like, I use Maffetone for like easy and base building, but for like most of my stuff, that's kind of how I approach it. And then his book is interesting from like the philosophy behind the Maffetone approach, but like in terms of practical application, tends to frustrate me and a lot of other people. But that's kind of what I subscribe to for my easy training. And then when it comes to like higher intensity heart rate training, I would look more towards Jack Daniels. I like Jack Daniels. All right, let's see. Stevie76 says most lawyers are caffeine desensitized. I would say that that's true. James Connor says, how much sleep do you get on average? Jonas Connor, I'm so sorry. I forget. Let me look. I can show you right now. My 28-day average is 6 hours and 43 minutes, which is kind of a lot. I think it's probably closer to 6 hours, like when things are quote-unquote normal. So, yeah. Yeah, Frank LaHoolier says, I was using the Carbon X for my long runs, but it was too worn out after 260 miles. And it's expensive for 260 miles. Yeah, that's kind of what I would think would happen. Martha says, we go to sleep every night looking forward to our Nespresso drinks the next morning. Yeah, I do. I look forward to coffee in the morning too. Time Met says, those hat things still exist. Lids has them. Yeah, I mean, I guess the good follow-up question is, lids still exists? That's still a thing? But I guess it is. It makes sense. Martha says, this hat is like a too voluminous toe box when the fabric bunches up. That is like a pet peeve of mine on shoes. Like when the fabric, like the material of the upper, like starts to like bubble in weird ways on a shoe. That just looks like that. And when the shoe curls up a lot, you know, after you've worn it a while, like the toe box curls up. That is just like I don't like that anymore. I mean, I know that's natural and that's what it looks like, but you know. Yeah. Dave says, Code, did you see Ben Barra's latest video? Blue collar running, no tech, heart rate, pace, etc. Yeah, I felt like he was talking about me. I know he wasn't, and that'd be really presumptuous for me to think about that. But I'm like, oh man, all the things he says he doesn't like is all the things that I love when I have running. Music or an audiobook, technology, stuff. Yeah, I'm like the opposite of blue collar running. It was a pretty good video. I liked it. Blotch says, have you ever run an all-out mile? If so, how fast did you run it? I think my last mile, like I did the Nike pop-up race last year. It was supposed to be a mile. It ended up being not a mile. I forget if it was short or long. It was probably short. I don't know. I think it was long. But I think when I did the calculations of it, I think I was a little bit shy of 6 minutes. I think right now I'm probably closer to like 6:10, 6 minute maybe pace. Maybe closer to 6:10, maybe even 6:15. I'm not sure. I want to say that my high school PR, which is like the last time I ever like trained to race a mile, I think I want to say in high school that I was like 5:40. So, I mean, not very fast. Mark Chanko says, is Jack Daniels the whiskey guy? Yeah, you know what I always have to check, and I still never remember, is when people talk about Jack Daniels' book, is it Jack Daniel apostrophe S, or is the name Jack Daniels with an apostrophe at the end of it? I never remember that. Oh, Martha says, SKU is stock keeping unit. That makes sense. Guy says, how many hats do you have? I don't know. They keep coming. I keep buying them, and then more keep getting sent to me and stuff. So I have like probably like a dozen. I have way more than I need. And then I have winter hats. So there's a lot. Cherry Carino says, thanks, Co. Jack Daniels running formula. That's it. I have a couple of those books, and I'll have to revisit those sections. Yeah, I mean, I think that like those are the sections like when you're not actually heart rate training, you're like, oh, whatever. That's tables. Let's just skip. You know, but then you're like, oh yeah, I forgot that that's in there, and now I want to look at that. So it's a good one. I've been looking at it a lot lately. Yeah. So I would look there. I mean, he has, if you wanted to use VO2 max, if you want to use heart rate, he has lots of different ways that you can construct what your paces should be. Jonas Connor says, who's your favorite pro runner? I'm not sure who my favorite pro runner would be. It's a good question. I don't know. I mean, who doesn't really like Eliud Kipchoge, right? Because he's just amazing. But I feel like that's not like a real answer, is it? So, I don't know. Who's yours, Jonas? I think a very interesting runner right now is, I forget what his name is, but he runs the 400 intermediate hurdles. And he frequently wears a Viking hat afterwards when he wins, like the kind that, like a helmet, like a Thor helmet, like from Adventures in Babysitting. Not a real Thor helmet, but like that kind of helmet. Like a plastic, like it looks like a metal helmet with the two horns out of it. Is he from Norway? I forget his name. That guy's pretty intense. He's pretty fantastic to watch, but I forget his name. I think the Ingebrigtsen brothers and apparently sister are pretty fascinating as well, just because it's like, how do they all come from the same family? I don't understand that. But I mean, I like a lot of the Hoka runners because I just like what NAZ Elite is doing. I think that's a really cool concept that they are putting in it as an emphasis that, like, it's not just about results. It's about training and process and kind of like the whole, it's about succeeding as athletes rather than just succeeding at events, which I think is a pretty cool concept. I like that a lot. Chris Yao says, regarding Jack Daniels, my last run was 4x400s. I ran them at perceived effort. Daniels' running formula arrived in the mail yesterday, and his splits were within 10 seconds of his VDOT recommendations. See, that's pretty cool. Chris, you probably have a really good sense of your body in terms of a feel for running repetitions like that. So that's cool. Dave says, Co, where's a lawnmower video? I put, back when, like, right around the first time I mowed the lawn, like, I guess it was like 2 months ago, maybe now at this point, I put some in, like, the end card footage of some of the video because it's kind of boring. But also, like, I was like, I don't really want, like, I don't know how to shoot the lawnmower video without showing, like, the neighbors' houses and stuff. And I just didn't want to do that. Especially since, like, they're not my neighbors. I was just living there temporarily. So it's just hard to do that. I mean, I would like to do a video where I put, like, mounts on the lawnmower and then maybe even get the 360 camera. I would love to have, like, what I really want to do is have 360 riding lawnmower footage. I don't know why. It just seems like completely ludicrous and unnecessary, but I really want to have that. Yeah. But the riding lawnmower at that house, it's been described to me as a death trap, so I was too scared to ride it. So I just use a push mower. Let's see. Chris Dyke says, maybe I'm watching too many running YouTubers these days, but I find myself getting bored of my shoes after not many miles. 6 in the rotation, and I'm still looking for new ones. Smack my head. I mean, maybe that's definitely, like, something that I've noticed is, like, I'm getting a lot of new shoes, and I'm not getting through a lot of my other shoes, and I'm finishing my shoes at 100 miles just to, like, keep the rotation smaller. And so, like, yeah, I know what you mean. Martha says, I always get mixed up with the breed of terrier, Jack Russell, and call it a Jack Daniels. That's funny. That's really funny. I'll never look at those dogs the same again. Dave says, in the UK, it's looking like Parkrun may have a path to returning. Pun not intended. Going through the process at the moment. Super happy about that. Yeah, I've seen a lot of videos of different, like, race organizers in the UK that do, like, rolling start, and you have, like, staggered start, almost like a Formula One race, where, like, there's, like, you're starting like this, and there's, like, 3 rows of you, but a small number, and then you'd get sent out, and then the next group would get sent out. So I've seen different things, and, like, the big sprayer with, like, the antibacterial whatever, like, spray mist that gets sprayed on, and lots of things. I'm not sure if that's what Parkrun's planning on doing, but it seems like, I mean, the UK is run crazy. You guys love running over there, and I think you guys love your Parkrun, and it's not surprising to me that you guys are, like, prioritizing that. But I also think that you guys are at a point where you can do that. I think there's still races that are going on in the US now, like, that have come back, but I don't know. That's terrifying to me. John Wan says, sorry, it just moved on me. John Wan says, just bought CLA caps and they're so comfortable. And a recommendation for winter hats. Are CLA winter hats just as good as their regular caps? I've never tried their winter hats. I didn't know they made winter hats. But for me, for winter hats, I wear like beanies, skull caps, whatever they're called, like the knit caps. I like ones with palms on the top. I just think that that's fun. So I like that. Or I wear a balaclava when it's really cold out. But I usually have like a knit cap and a neck gaiter. So like only like this is showing. That's how I like to run in the winter. Yeah. Because other than that, I could just wear my regular hats if it's like fall or brisk temperatures. But when it's really cold, then I want like a winter hat on. CJ Cruz says, I'll have a drink when I get off work while watching this. Miss being with y'all on live streams. Well, awesome, CJ. Whenever you can join us with that drink, that's cool. Awesome. I'm glad to have you here for now. All right. Let's get a couple more and then we'll call it for today. Ryan Loma says, I'm typically a no music runner, but I recently tried the 180 BPM Amazon playlist, which places a techno beat over pop rock music. Really? Super annoying, but very effective in keeping up my cadence. That's interesting. I might have to try that, because if it's super annoying, I thought about doing during like this recovery phase that I'm in, just trying running with a 180 beat per minute playlist just to see how I liked it and how it felt on like an easy run or a recovery run. But the fact that there's like a super annoying version of it sounds pretty amazing. I might have to try it. Stevie76 says most lawyers are also desensitized to Jack Daniels, and he has 3 drink emojis. I don't know why, but those drink emojis look delicious. But yeah, I would agree with that too. Nokvu Nguyen says co, and then in parentheses he says theoretically if everything gets better, and paren, which international races would you do? Mine would be the Tokyo Marathon. Yeah, I mean the Tokyo Marathon is like a bucket list race for me. I would love to be able to do that one, but I think that I probably wouldn't do that one until it was like a like the 6th star, if I get the 6 stars, because it's just so far and it's so expensive, and like you can't just like hop on a plane and go over. The time differences are so substantial that it takes a couple of days, I feel like, to get used to it. I'm not a frequent traveler, so like I'm not used to like jumping time zones, so I think it would take me a while to acclimate, and yeah, so that would be a while. I would really like to do the London Marathon. I really want to do that one. I want to experience like UK running culture, because I feel like it's insane. So that's probably the one that I would want to do. Yeah, I think that's the main one that I would want to do. Let's see. Let's do one more. What do we got here? My cow says, do you get more YouTube money if we watch the whole ad versus skipping after 5 seconds? I'm not sure. I think the answer is no, but in either event, I wouldn't want you to watch an entire ad on my account. It's just, life's too short. Just skip it after 5 seconds. I always skip after 5 seconds. So if you see an ad on my channel, and don't worry that it's going to make me more or less money. I don't think it does. And in either event, even if it did, I still would want you to just skip ahead. Don't worry about the ads. Yeah. Let's see. Chris Yes says, okay, guys, I'm out. Dinner ready early. Take care, everyone. Awesome. I think that's a good one to leave it on. Yeah, it's 3:47 here. I'm really thirsty. I really just want a glass of water. I probably didn't hydrate enough after both running this morning and after mowing the lawn. It takes a lot out of me. I'm not used to it. I'm not in good lawn mowing shape. So I think I needed more hydration. It wasn't hot today, so I think I underdid it. So I think that's all part of it. But so far, thumbs up on the coffee. I like it. It's like how my coffee would taste if I were to add sugar to it. So I kind of like that. But it's got it already kind of built into it. I suppose I could just add my own sugar. But otherwise, the taste is good. I'll keep trying it with altering the brew times and figuring like how much I want to put in there. And I'll also give you guys, I think I'll probably make a video of it by the time like I'm done with this bag. I have 2 bags, but by the time I'm done with this one, and just kind of like comment on like the buzz and the caffeine level for like this, you know, in terms of how long it takes to wear off and what it kind of feels like. So there'll be more about it. But in the meantime, tomorrow's video is going to be I talk about power tomorrow. Wait, am I talking about power tomorrow? Yeah, I think I'm about talking about power tomorrow. And then we'll do another live stream in the afternoon, same time. All right. Hopefully you guys are safe out there on your runs in the meantime, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you.